So we had a look at conditionals, so control structures, which allowed us to change the flow of code execution based on certain conditions being true or false. Another important control structure are loops, which allow us to execute code multiple times, so more than once. I'll have a look at the for loop first, and you might know this loop from other languages, of course. A for loop is created like this. We use the for keyword and then we have parentheses. Here we set up a variable which will be used inside this loop, typically I, and we set it to an initial value, for example 0, which is a common case. Then we have a semicolon, and then we specify the condition which defines how long the loop should be running. For example, that I, the variable we just set up here, should be smaller than 5. So this loop will execute as long as I is smaller than 5. Again, we have a semicolon, and then we specify what we want to do with I upon each iteration. Here, I want to increment it by 1, and we can use the increment operator for this by simply adding 2 plus signs right after I, which of course is the variable name. This will count up I by 1 upon each code execution or each loop round here. So whenever we start a new round in this loop, or whenever we finish a round to be precise, we will count up I by 1, so add 1 to it. Then I have curly braces again to define the code which should get executed inside this loop, and I will just print out I, so this variable here. What do you think we'll see if I hit run? Well, we see 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're not seeing 5, but as you can see, we executed it 5 times and we started at 0, which is the initial value. So technically what happened here is that we set I to 0, print it out, add 1 to it, because that is what we do upon each time we finish one round of this loop, and we finish the round after this code line since we have no additional code coming. And then we got I equal to 1. So we continue since it is still smaller than 5. And we continue as long until it is 4. Then we print out this value a last time, 4. And then we add 1 to it again. Now it's 5, and therefore this condition is no longer satisfied. I is not smaller than 5 anymore, and therefore this loop is now quit, or we exit out of this loop. This is why we print 1 to 4 here.